Hello guys, welcome to the night before news. So here is your video, just giving you a little bit of last minute revision, ready for your component 3 exam. So remember, you've got two sections. You'll be given a booklet. First section is Find Me, second section is B, and you'll be answering that on Metamorphosis. Remember, for the first section, Find Me, go and find that section. So in the booklet you will have a list of various plays. You do not answer on anything other than Find Me. That's really important. Find that section first. Remember, you need to be spending about 1.5 minutes per mark. 2 minutes if you've got extra time. So if it's a 1 mark answer, you don't need to spend any more than 1.5 minutes. And if I'm honest, that's generous for the 1 marker. I recommend getting the longer questions done first. This way you will have more, you won't be thinking that you've run out of time for the longer marks, for the ones with longer marks. So I recommend doing your 15 marker first on your section A. Now remember, your 15 marker is on the a question where you can write about any extracts that isn't in the given earlier questions. So first things first, you read which extract the exam wants you to focus on. You can then decide if for the 15 marker which section you can answer on. You cannot answer the 15 marker on the same extract for the first few questions. It's not allowed. So do the 15 marker first. That way it's out of the way. The 15 marker is the one, how would you play a particular character? Then do your 12 marker, the design question. Then do the rest of the Find Me questions. That's then Find Me out of the way. But remember, you've got the 15 marker left. Don't forget about this. This is at the end of the booklet, and make sure you allow yourself 25 minutes. Find Me, a few things to remind you. Written by Olwen Wymark in 1977. It's a tragic social drama. Verbatim theatre. Remember, this is based on real life, and some of the text is taken from real life interviews. Verity isn't her real name, but it is based on a real person. Themes: mental health, family relationships, judgment, and so on. It is written from the perspective of others. It isn't Verity's perspective. It's written from those around her and that experienced her behaviour. Wymark wrote it in the style of Brecht. So it has episodes instead of scenes, minimalistic set design. There's multi-rolling and split role. The split role is the fact that there are 5 different verities. Yeah, so lots of different actors share the same role. Original staging conditions, you know this. It was set at the Orange Tree Theatre in the round. Minimalistic staging, natural light, so no stage lights. Audience sat on church pews. A reminder of rehearsal techniques: hot seating, improvisation, and roll on paper or roll on wall. Remember, the rehearsal techniques are to assist the director in getting the actors into the character that they need to be in. Rehearsal techniques are not placed into the performance itself. They are merely there to help the actors rehearse and to develop the character. Choose one and explain how you would use it to develop that scene, and make sure you are referring back to the scene. Important terminology, guys: voice and movement. It's important that you are specific, but you're using these pieces of vocabulary. Tone, remember, is emotion. Yeah. Is it a happy tone, a sad tone, an angry tone, an irritated tone? The tempo is the pace. Are you speaking quickly with a pause? And so on. Pauses are so important. They really do help add tension. Look at punctuation. The suggestion of punctuation is that you should be pausing. Movement, you know all of this. Just a reminder, proxemics is really important. The proxemics is the distance between between two characters. It might be close proxemics, it might be a distant proxemics to show that perhaps they're not close. It's important with your terminology, guys, when you're talking about acting, how you would play a particular character, that you are specific. Don't just describe one thing, describe lots of it, particularly in movement. Don't just talk about facial expression, talk about lots of it. Talk about gesture, but don't just say I would use a gesture. What gesture? A thumbs up gesture to signify that they're okay with something. I would use a slouched body language to suggest that they're feeling bored or dissatisfied or whatever. Make sure you're specific. The 15 marker, remember this is again the extract that you choose. So whatever the first few questions are on, make sure you don't write about that bit in this one. Choose the extract that you know is most appropriate, that you know the best, but also that you know that that character is in. So it's going to be, the 50 marker will be a how would you play a particular character question. The three things that will come up: character motivation, voice and movement. And you should be talking about a couple of examples. So every character in the scene, talk about their motivation, but focus on the character you've been asked to speak about. Character motivation, there's a reminder for you in that box there. For voice, give a couple of examples, and remember, what are you doing, when are you doing it, and why are you doing it? So use the quotes, guys. It's really important that you're quoting the text here. I would have Jean speak in an angry tone on the line blah 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 blah. I would do this to show that she whatever. Okay, same with movement. Make sure you're referencing when and giving examples. My advice to you is to give at least 3 examples of how voice is used and 3 examples of movement. This way you're covering yourself and you're being really detailed. Be specific. Go back to that terminology. Then you got your 12 marker, the design question. Really important things. Remember, if it asks you to write about set and costume, you must write about both, otherwise you can't get full marks. If it doesn't mention costume, then don't write about costume. It won't be marked and it's a waste of time. Only write about what it asks you to write about, whatever's in the bullet points, whatever's in the question. This is likely to be your original staging question, so make sure you get a sentence or 2 in here about that and link it to whatever it is that it's asked you to talk about. Detail is key. Yeah, make sure you are giving lots of detail. Make sure that you say why you've chosen to include this. Also, make sure you're linking to the scene, guys, and linking to the particular staging you've been told to design for. So please don't do this, don't finish this question not having referenced whatever stage design it's asked you to do it for. So if it's asked you to design for In the Round, make sure you keep referencing In the Round. Yeah, everything has to be specific to In the Round. Also make sure that you state your chosen style. So is it a naturalistic set or sound design? Is it symbolic? Is it a mixture of both, and so on? And make sure you state if you have chosen to set your production in modern day or in a particular year. So are you keeping it set in 1977 or are you setting it in modern day? And why? What's the reason for that? Here's some important lighting keywords. Remember, naturalistic or non-naturalistic lighting. Maybe you're having both, but make sure you say that. Important words. Remember, we can't have a black light. We use the word dim to go dark and increase the intensity to go brighter. I really want to see you guys using the word intensity. Remember, colour is also really important. So don't just say I would have a red spotlight. Try to describe what colour red or blue or whatever. Terminology for set and props. So we've done quite a lot on set and props recently. Remember the difference between a set and the difference between props. Think carefully about that. Don't confuse the two. But if it does ask you for set and props, make sure you talk about both and give your reason. So when you're describing, talk about what it is, what it looks like, what it's made of, the details that it has, fabric, colour, old or new, is it interacted with. Also, when you're designing your set, make sure you're linking it to the stage convention, thinking about what's above, what's below, the audience perspective, and the big one, the wow factor. Yeah, what wow factor will you have? Think about those levels, think about those colours. Sound, again, just a little bit of a reminder, we've done quite a lot on this. Is it diegetic? Is it non-diegetic? Is it live? Is it recorded? Be as strict, as descriptive as possible. Don't just say sad music. Explain what kind of sad music. Is it violin music? Is it high-pitched? Please be specific. Costume, make sure you're describing it in full. The colour, the style, the length, the wear, is it old, ripped, new, etc. The fabric, the character's interaction with the costume as well. Okay, so moving on to metamorphosis. Of course, the previous slides, the terminology, it's all relevant to this as well, because you might select a design question. But for section B, you are going to talk about metamorphosis, but you've got a choice of two questions, remember, either a design question or acting. You must do one of them, don't do both. You need to spend about 25 minutes, 30 if you've got extra time on this question. And this is going to be in the back of your booklet. Make sure you find it. Paragraph 1 is your introduction. Paragraph 2 is your example 1. So remember, it will probably ask you to give to talk about 2 extracts. So if you're talking about costume, for example, find 2 points, 2 extracts in Metamorphosis where costume was important and relevant. Talk about the first extract first, describe what you saw, then analyse why you think they designed it like that, then evaluate what was your opinion, and do the exact same thing for the second extract. It's so important that you're evaluating, guys. I understand you're great at analysing why they did it, what the point was, what they were trying to communicate, but what was your opinion? How did it make you feel? Were they successful or not? What was the audience's response? 15 marks for that question. Ultimately, don't panic. Keep an eye on the time. Read the given extract first. Be detailed and specific. Read the question carefully and highlight the important words. Good luck. Break a leg.